Well, hello everyone. How are you today? I hope you are doing well. I am so excited to bring you another episode of What's Your Dream? And I have a very, very special person here with me to speak with. And first of all, let me say this. Of course, this is Donna Page Riley with MissDonnaSpeaks.com. And listen, for some reason, I'm having some technical issues with going live with you. And so you'll see my photo, and that's okay because we want to concentrate mainly on my special guest, which is Dr. Virna Simmons. Dr. Simmons, how are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is a pleasure. I have been looking so forward to having you participate in this series of What's Your Dream, because I personally know that you are fulfilling your purpose and living your dream. So I just want to let people know a little bit about you before we start going. And everyone, Dr. Virna Simmons has over 13 years of experience in treating and educating patients on a wide array of illnesses. She graduated from Morehouse School of Medicine in 2005 and finished her residency program with Atlanta Medical Center in 2008. Dr. Simmons is a board certified in family medicine and is a participating member of the American Academy of Family Medicine and the Georgia Academy of Family Practice. Dr. Simmons was a National Health Service Corp award recipient from 2009 to 2012. She enjoys volunteering at local community health fairs and is underserved communities and educating individuals on health and wellness. Dr. Simmons' recent professional experience includes working at a large community health center and working as an adjunct clinical professor for Emory University School of Medicine. Her medical experience spans full primary care from the infant to geriatrics. Dr. Simmons believes in treating the whole person, not just the disease, because it is often numerous factors that impact one's health, which include physical, mental, and social influences. In her spare time, she enjoys spending time with family and friends and loves to travel. Again, welcome, Dr. Simmons, and congratulations on all your accomplishments. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure. I've had several doctors over the years, personal doctors, and so excited to say that you are my personal doctor. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, about how we kind of reconnected. Okay. So anyway, if you would just be kind enough to just share a little bit of your backstory with our viewers.
Okay. So I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and I grew up in Los Angeles with my parents, who are originally from Alabama, but they actually ventured out to California in their 20s. And so I was born there, and I grew up pretty much in a middle-class neighborhood in South Los Angeles. Some of you may be familiar with the Reginald Denny incident that ignited the riots in Los Angeles. And so I grew up probably about 10 blocks away from where the Los Angeles riots started back in the mid 1990s. And I grew up about 5 blocks from Florence and Normandy, for those of you who may be from California or from the Los Angeles area. And just growing up in pretty much, some would consider that, underserved and inner city, kind of where crime was around and where gang violence was. I wasn't really exposed to it, although it was there. My parents sheltered me from that. And I really didn't know all that was going around me until growing up later and becoming an adult, seeing that, wow, I grew up amidst all that, and, just coming from all that, and just, I think that makes me who I am today. And, I'm proud for those experiences that I had, but I would say that, I wasn't closely tied to all that was around me, but, looking back on it, I know it was there. And I grew up wanting to either become a teacher or a doctor. The influences that I had were my teachers, and as well as my own pediatrician. Growing up, going to the doctor and having gone to school, those teachers and my doctor really made an impact on me. And, I enjoyed my teachers, particularly my third grade teacher, as well as my fourth grade teacher. And like I said, I enjoyed my pediatrician going there. He would always have some jokes for me, and, he would do something funny, and, that just made an impact on me. So going to the doctor actually didn't feel like I was going to the doctor, getting a shot or getting some type of treatment that would be painful. It was an enjoyable experience. And so that, that made an impact on me. And I think that's where I initially got the desire to want to become a teacher or a doctor. And so going through school, I made it a point to major in the sciences because I, wanted that to be the path that would lead me into medicine. And so I majored in biology, and I attended Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, California. And upon graduating from college, I set out to say, okay, I'm going to medical school, and I'm going to do it this way, A, B, C. Everything is going to line up perfectly, and I'm going to get into medical school right after college. But unfortunately, that did not happen because my grades although were good, they weren't as competitive as they needed to be for medicine. So I had to take a little of a detour. And so I took a detour and actually ended up teaching elementary school, which I felt was very, very, very impactful. And I can get into that later. But yeah, that's kind of my background.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And those of you who may just be joining us, this is our What's Your Dream series. I'm generally on live, but we're having some technical difficulties. I am having some technical difficulties, but I'm glad you're able to certainly see Dr. Simmons live. And so I know that you said that you wanted to be either a doctor or a teacher, but how amazing is that you've actually ended up being both?
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, so when I graduated from college, there was a big need for elementary school teachers in the South Los Angeles area. And so at that time, you really didn't need a teaching credential. All you needed was a bachelor's degree and to pass a standardized teaching exam. And so I took a test and I passed it, and I was able to start teaching right away. And so that's when I taught at an elementary school, probably about 15 blocks from my home in an inner city. And I started teaching fourth grade the first year. And this class was a very challenging class. This class had students who were considered, the outcast of the school. And so they were, throwing chairs on the first day, and, cursing first day, and, walking out of class the first day.
Wow.
And so, that class, I don't think any teacher wanted that class. So that was the class that I was given on my first day.
And you went back for the second day?
So surprisingly enough, I did.
That's beautiful.
And I would say I stuck to it. It was very challenging, as you would imagine. And I just, talked to my mom about it and talked to other teachers. And there were other teachers that were neighboring my class. And so they would help me
Mhm.
with the students at times. But it was tough. It was really tough. And it made me question, why would I want to do this? But, going through it, I got used to it. And eventually, probably the next year, I ended up going to a different grade level. But I feel like that experience, taught me a lot about, you know, tenacity, and taught me a lot about just persevering through
Mhm.
hard times. Just
Wow. And I'm sure those students were blessed, and their parents with you actually, working and interacting with their children. So I just think that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And of course, that says a lot too about, about your personality and your gifting. And I just always noticed personally that you have always had just what I call impeccable bedside manner, because I know that, you know, doctors, you all have only a certain window of time to see patients, and you may have several patients, but no matter what time I had an appointment with you, you always made me feel as though you did not have that specific, I guess you didn't have a timer set, if you will, or the
Mhm.
hourglass wasn't running. And oftentimes, we understand that, with having only a set amount of time, most of the time, patients, of course, feel rushed. You feel rushed, and it's like, oh God, I got to be able to say everything. And I hope I have time to say this. And I hope she's going to have time to answer all my questions and that type of thing. But I personally never had that feeling. And I've had several other doctors that I always have that feeling. And of course, people that I have talked to and interact with, it's just real common that generally it's like, it's almost like, okay, you have 2 minutes, so let's make it happen. And you're going to go on your way. And so I just never had the feel of that from you. And I've just mentioned that you just have impeccable, the customer service bedside manner skills, which is just, to me, it's always been amazing. And how you interact with your patients. And I just, I feel blessed. So during that I think it was 2 year period or something, that I couldn't find you because you had moved, and then they wouldn't tell me where you went. And I thought,
Mhm.
wow. So when we were able to reconnect again, it was just wonderful. It was just such a major, major difference in care. And of course, it's so needed, because as a patient, and I'm sure the majority of the patients that you see, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the majority of patients that you see pretty much on a consistent basis usually are not feeling well, right?
Right.
And when you're not feeling well, one of the main things is you certainly want to feel as though you matter, or you want to feel as though that you're not necessarily able to see, to physically see even, the timer, or the hourglass counting down. So you want to, because it just makes you feel so rushed and hurried. But you just have that way with you that you just have never made me feel that way. And I just think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, you are so welcome. And when did you, I know that, when did you finally really determine that you wanted to be a doctor? Because I know you had the experience of teaching, and to just really, this is my dream. I really want to provide care for people.
Mhm. I'd say it probably was in high school.
Hmm.
And I love the sciences. I love biology. I love math. But I also enjoyed just trying to really, I guess, figure things out. And I felt like with medicine, I could do both. So I
Hmm.
teach
Hmm.
medicine, but I could also figure things out
Mhm.
from a medical perspective in terms of patients presenting with problems.
Mhm.
So I felt that that offered the best of both worlds. And I would have, I have sick family members, and I, I really felt for them. And particularly, I had an aunt that passed away from a rare illness
Mhm.
called scleroderma. And she was 40, about 42 when she passed away. And so those kind of things, seeing sick family members, I think that also influenced my decision to become a doctor. So
Mhm.
it's been around my high school years.
Okay. And what I know on your path, and everyone is faced with, different obstacles, and is there an obstacle perhaps that you can share,
Mhm.
through your path? I know, you graduated from Morehouse School of Medicine, and I'm
Mhm.
sure, that wasn't an easy path, to be able to do that. But what do you think, if you could share maybe one or two
Mhm.
obstacles that you really had to overcome, and to allow you to keep going, and to morph into this wonderful physician that you are?
So I would say one obstacle was my my own personality and being shy and reserved.
Mhm.
I would say that was an obstacle because I wasn't letting people know really who I was, being shy. I can remember an interview that I had in high school, and after the interview, the interviewer said, wow, I really wouldn't didn't know that you were that smart just from our interview,
Mhm.
because you were, really reserved and really quiet to the point where I really wouldn't expect to see all that I saw on your resume. And so that really hit home with me. And I think about that to this day, obviously, because, just me being shy and reserved, I think that that was a challenge in trying to overcome that. And I think just growing up and becoming a doctor, obviously you have to talk to people. So that has gotten me out of that. Life experiences, going to medical school, having to present often, and having to talk to patients often, and talk to other doctors and colleagues often. And so just through those experiences, I think that has gotten me away from being shy and reserved. But I think that, just in terms of just committing myself to trying to get out of that, and work towards, being more just being more open, I think
Mhm.
has helped me. So that's one challenge that I would say that I had personally. And then another one was just not initially getting accepted to medical school.
Mhm.
So that was a, a challenge because I wanted to do everything XYZ in a row. Okay, after college, 1998, I graduated. So I have to get accepted to medical school 1999, so everything has to go in a sequential order. And so I didn't get accepted to medical school right away. And so I initially felt really bad about it. And I looked at other ways to see, okay, how else can I do this? And something came across, as far as a program where you could take courses to strengthen your academic resume. And
Mhm.
so I took a course, which was about, I would say, 9 months at University of California, Davis in Northern California. And so I moved there um, after I graduated from college, and I took a course, and then that course was called a post-baccalaureate program. So there were other people in the program interested in going to medical school, and so they taught you additional skills, and interviewing skills, and also at the same time, you're taking medical classes and biology courses and things like that. And so I really was able to strengthen my application and reapply to medical school. And I think that had I not applied to that program, I would not have learned about Morehouse School of Medicine. Because in that program, they gave us information about particular schools that they felt that were strong in terms of what we wanted to do in our career path. And so had I not done that program, I probably would have never ended up at Morehouse School of Medicine.
Wow.
So life sort of throws you curveballs. And so, you know, you may not end up where you want to be right away, but there's, you know, something that is good in that challenge. And I think that was a good thing that I did take the program, because it allowed me to go to Morehouse School of Medicine. And I'm here today because I went to Morehouse School of Medicine. And so I haven't looked back from that. And I'm thankful for that, that detour.
Yes. Yes. What a blessing. And one of the main reasons that I like to do this series is to encourage people. And I'm sure everyone has certainly been encouraged, just, you know, listening to you today, to stay the course and not give up. In fact, I just spoke with someone yesterday. She was telling me that her daughter had taken the real estate exam, and she was kind of down because she didn't pass it. And but she can take it again. So it's just a matter of just telling her, you know, don't give up, just, you know, stay the course, and you'll be able to do it. And so, oh, that's wonderful. What a absolute blessing. Yeah, what a blessing. Well, wow. I want to again thank you so much for your time. I know you're very busy, so I certainly do appreciate your time. And is there anything in conclusion that you would just like to give to someone who may be watching, and even some persons who may be watching or listening, because this will also be on the my Blog Talk Radio program as well, that may even want to become, you know, a doctor, or there may be straddling the fence thinking, oh, it might be too hard, or gosh, but that's what I'd really like to do. So what would you say to that person that may be listening?
I would say, if there's anything that you want to do, stay focused and stay committed, whether it's, you know, become a business person, become a dentist, become an engineer, become a truck driver, you know, whatever that is that you want to be, just know that you can do it. It's you have to almost envision yourself doing that very thing that you want to do. And I've learned that over the years. This is something that I didn't know from day one. So it's almost like you have to know that you can do it first and foremost, and then envision yourself doing that. And then try to find perhaps someone who is also doing it. So you don't have to necessarily reinvent the wheel, but you can get their advice on how to go about doing it. So for example, if you know someone in that field, try to become their mentee. And so they can help you and guide you along the way, and perhaps even help prevent mistakes that they may have made that could help further you along that journey. So that's one thing I would say, or two things. Know that that's what you want to do, and if you want to do it, know in your heart of hearts that you can do it. Then two, find someone that has gone in that path, that has done it before you, and try to become their mentee, or have them, you know, become they be your mentor. And then I would say the next biggest thing is just pray. You know, stay steadfast and pray, you know, for God's, you know, just God's encouragement over your life and for that goal or that career that you want to have will be my best advice.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And oftentimes, people will ask, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I just don't know. And so part of this is about, fulfilling your purpose. And that's the same advice that I generally give to people as well is, sit and pray and ask the Lord, what is it that you were put on this earth to do? And he will certainly show you, and you'll fulfill your purpose. And, like you said, you want to stay the course, don't give up, stay focused. So thank you so much for that. And again, everyone, I'm so sorry I was unable to interact live, having some technical issues today with my devices. But I'm so pleased that you were able to certainly see and hear from Dr. Virna Simmons. Again, this has been What's Your Dream? And are you fulfilling your dream? Are you living out your purpose? So that's what this series is about. And thank you again so much for tuning in today. And listen, I hope you enjoy your day or evening or whatever time you may be watching this. And take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.